Back. This is Entrepreneurship 30. My name is Alan Graves. We're going to go over the live plan and we're looking at the company overview section. I understand that when you first look at this plan, you will see the executive summary first, the opportunity execution, a little bit about the company later, and then, of course, the financial plans. It is imperative that we start with the company, which will be the easiest part for us to start creating the relationship of understanding who you are and what the company is all about. So the first thing you need to do is look at the overview, ownership and structure. In the ownership and structure section, it is imperative for you to tell me who owns the company and how is it divided in terms of ownership. I will tell you that if you're a sole proprietor or if you own the company entirely by yourself, that is fantastic. You can just tell me that. But if you do own the company with a partner or several partners, I need to know who owns what percentage. The reason why this is important for you to state and for you to know is that in the future, when the company has assets such as money, buildings, real estate, brand and trademarks and intellectual property, who owns the majority of those properties? This is very important before a company or company owners go into a conflict of interest, saying where it's one of the owners may want to lead the company in one direction, but the other owner may want to lead into a different direction. If the ownership is 50-50, this means that in order for the settlement to, or for the owners to agree, this will may end up in a very, very costly legal battle. So banks and investors do not want to enter into a partnership, into an investment opportunity with owners who have not identified who has the final say. So when looking at ownership, what I'm really looking for is trying to figure out who is going to make the final decision. So if you have two people, and if you guys are 50-50, you guys have got to come down with the decision now. It's going to be an awkward conversation, I understand, but it's better to be an awkward conversation now than to be a legal proceeding later down the line. So even if you're just 51-49, at the end of the day, whoever owns that extra 2% is going to be making the final decision, and investors and lenders are going to be okay with that. The reality is that you cannot have two CEOs in the same company. You cannot have two people leading in the same company. You need to figure out how the division is going to happen in ownership to ensure that later on, when there is a disagreement, someone does have that final say. In terms of how it's structured, whether there's a C Corp, S Corp, LLC, sole proprietorship, or a partnership, this is something that you need to tell me. I am going to add an additional link for you to review this so you understand the differences between a corporation and a limited liability corporation, as well to a sole proprietorship and a partnership. All four of these structures, or excuse me, or even if a non-for-profit, all of these structures that you can hold your company as, it's important for you to understand the difference and benefits and drawbacks of each one of these. Usually you will learn this in an accounting class. This is an advanced class where we are assuming that many of you have already taken an introduction to accounting, maybe even an introduction to finance. So in this way, you will know the differences that entail in how to hold each one of these companies. But just in case, look for a link that I'm going to make available to you so that you can review that once again, so you can put the information that is needed here. Then there's the company history section. This is the fun part of writing your business plan. This is the fun part where you can tell me all the bubbles and the roses and how colorful and how the idea came about, how interesting this your business idea and why your passion matters, and how did you come about and why you. So for instance, if we look at San Francisco Love Tours, there is a section in the Get to Know Us, there's our story. And in our story, you get a picture of the two founders. It tells you, how we came about and why this and so on and so forth. And, how does this our company came about. And, when you look at Alan Graves, the older of the two brothers, brainstorms the idea for Love Tours, further express his love for all things Volkswagen. His first car was a baby blue 1968 VW Beetle or the Bug. Right? He still gets nostalgic when he remembers it. And It had dents, mismatching shades of blue, but I could not have been happier. Right? This is where you can connect in the emotional side with your potential investors and even bankers. Remember that the people on the other side, investors and bankers, while we try to make them rigid investors, so we want to call them sharks or people that don't care about the story, the reality is that your story matters. And the story is going to lead me to believe why you would be able to pull this off. So there's that other part of it, like why is it that you can pull this off? Part of the story, of this is that we grew up in San Francisco, that we went to school out here, that this is our hometown, and so on and so forth. And it kind of created that information. The only thing that is withheld from this is that what was our competitive advantage, which included that I had 20 years plus of experience of managing companies, that I have an MBA. And part of the reason why we suppressed that from the website story is that we wanted to just make it very endearing to the people. When I pitched this to bankers and my first round of supporters, I told them why I would be able to make this in the story. He came back with, I used to have a Volkswagen through college. I have an MBA. So even though I was putting the Volkswagen as part of the story, I was telling them like why me and why a Volkswagen company. So this is your time to tell why you can make this company happen and how this inspiration is coming from. Now, we understand that is not going to be done alone. You have got to have a team. You need to have a management team in place. If you do get the money from your business plan or from a lender at a bank, what would you do with the 100 grand? What would you do with that money? Who is going to be part of your team? Who's going to be leading this? I would highly suggest that you will put yourself. You're going to be the CEO or president or founder of this company, and why you be qualified for that role. In this case, from this student, he put my mother, but he really meant to say that he was going to put Stephanie, who's his mom, because she's her. Then you put her expertise, right? Lenders and investors understand that when you're first starting up, your first round of people that is going to be around you are typically going to be next of kin, which is family, brothers, siblings, husband and wives. Then after that is going to be your college buddies, people you went to school with, right? And then after that is going to be just your friends, people that you know, because those people are likely to support you right away. Then later on, you may be able to bring in, heavy hitters, people that would require significant amount of money in order for them to become part of your team. You should also have a board of advisors, people that are going to be able to guide you along the way. If you are into trouble, if you find yourself into a setting where you don't know where to turn, who do you go to? How do you find advice? This is where you're going to list those individuals, and you want to put their qualifications of why you would put these individuals to be part of your board of advisors. So this is your first project. Your first project is to complete the company, which is overview, ownership, and structure. Make sure that this is done in Canvas. I'll make sure that you have given me the opportunity to be able to rate and check your your writing, so that I can build in comments right away, so that I can start saying things that need to change. For example, in this case, like I can tell, hi JT, please change from mother to her actual name. Right, I will post that comment, and then now that comment will be in there, and then now that's how you can post a comment back, and then we can have real conversation on your specific work. This is one of the things that I love about this class, is that it becomes kind of like that one-on-one consulting where I can start looking at your specific work. So make sure you get this done, and if you have any questions, feel free to email me or give me a call.